Hi everyone, McBeard here, back with another video for you. A really great video, very excited about this one. A deck guide plus an incredible game that follows it. So I hope you enjoy kind of the whole package in this one. But if you may or may not know, last week's episode of the Commander's Horn podcast, we talked a lot about monsters and came to the conclusion that Unseen Elder isn't really viable. And ever since then, I've kind of wanted to challenge our own discussion on that and try to find new and interesting ways to play Unseen Elder to kind of prove that maybe he's just not as rigid as we thought. So I've been trying a variant of Unseen Elder that takes advantage of the cards that take the most advantage of Unseen Elder, which are Neckers and Ericus Behemoth, and try to find other consume effects or other cards that might actually kind of expand what he's able to do. Ultimately, what he's really able to do is kind of very samey and game to game, and that's provide instances of consume for the Behemoth and the Neckers late in the game. But I do believe that he's not really, I mean, as one-dimensional as more Van Voorhees is, I think that it's actually fairly acceptable that you would play Unseen Elder in a deck like this, utilizing those bronze cards, and he is the best choice. So I do enjoy the deck, and I'll show you the deck right now so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the deck in the game that I'm going to show you, but there have been a couple of, there's been different permutations of this deck, and I think I will very clearly explain some of the choices, especially the ghouls in this particular version of the deck, because you're probably saying, why run ghouls and not run fiends? I will preface and say that on the day of the recording of this video, I was seeing, first of all, a lot of monster matchups, but specifically a lot of Eridan, and I needed to make room. You can see that this is a 27 card deck. I needed to make room for Archgriffins because drawing a Bea once and having games where I just didn't draw her at all, it was costing me these games. I had a very terrible win rate against Eridan, so I added these Archgriffins. It improved the matchup. I didn't see a lot of Eridan after that because you know how Gwent is. You put the tech in and then that deck goes away. But still, it still helped me because this matchup is still a monster mirror. I am going against Dagon, and it's a battle of epic proportions. But let's talk about the bronzes first. So we're talking about Unseen Elder. So generally, Unseen Elder is just, you know, a leader that focuses on consuming, and with Scorch being popular in the meta, it's actually, you know, pretty risky to play a card like this because he tends to be a big standout unit. So the way I like to play Unseen Elder is actually keeping him as small as possible and just taking the most advantage of the setup of Ericus Behemoth and the late game of having those extra 3 instances of consume for the Neckers. Now this deck is specifically not running Grand Warrior or Harpies because are we not tired of those cards? I think that there's probably a lot of great ways to win with other consume cards like Ghouls. The Ghouls generally though, so the Ghoul, we'll start with the Ghoul because Ghoul is one of my favorite cards. It always has been. It's just been unreliable and very swingy. But now it's a controllable unit. And being able to put cards like Fiends into the graveyard early, playing something like opening up with Fiend, placing your Ericus Behemoth, and then tempoing out with Elder, eating the Fiend, getting your Spider spawned, and then now you have the Ghoul available to come down as a 15. Really great round 1 stuff, but this version of the deck is not running the Fiends, so the Ghouls are a little bit weird in this version of the deck. But other than that, the Ghouls just kind of count for a consume effect. Unlike Vran, you actually get those points kind of, it's all together. It's more like a resurrection where you get the points out of the graveyard plus the points of the Ghoul, so a 4-point bronze resurrection that kind of kills any sort of deployability, which is why the Fiends are so good. They're just big bodies straight up. The Neckers, you know, they've come and they've gone, and I think that right now they're not seeing a lot of play these days, but I mean, if you're playing a consume deck, you should probably run these cards. They function as carryover. Their strength persists in carryover, unlike every other resilient card in the game. Basically, if you have another one in the deck, it will come out at that strength level because it isn't really a resiliency. It is carryover in a very specific and powerful way. So being able to carry over at double digits, plus it's really, really great if you're really bleeding in round 2. And with the pressure you're able to put on, you can do that. So if you're able to set up, get great carryover, bleed in round 2, and then possibly cycle the Neckers in a late round if there's one still in the deck and you have an Ekamara, it's an incredibly strong play. It's one of the strongest bronze plays this deck can do, and monsters in general can do, cycling a giant Necker with Ekamara and getting another one. So that's also a possibility. You are running Ericus in this deck. I think that the mulligan, it's not really that often that I was stuck with these, and being stuck with them isn't really the end of the world. If you have a really bad mulligan, you're just likely to keep these and play it as a 9-point bronze play that thins. You are much happier getting it out of the spawn of the Ericus Behemoth, but I think that generally it's worth the risk of having a suboptimal mulligan. There is a single Foglet in this deck because we are running Woodland Spirit. It's just all about big tempo plays, and generally this deck is about big tempo plays because there is a 6 strength bronze setup card that I really rely on. I am running 3 of them, and I'm also running a Monster Nest to create a 9 strength version of that card. The problem with Consume is that it can actually have a very slow start. So this deck kind of combats that by having very high tempo plays with Woodland Spirit, Regis, with Roach as well. And then once the things start moving, once the snowball starts rolling, then it becomes more and more likely that you can afford to play more of these and actually get more value out of them. But it's all about being able to afford to play these and not get passed on. That's really the name of the game when playing this deck. If you can get it down and stay ahead, then you're likely to be able to push ahead because of what this deck is able to do. You can push ahead by playing your Consume effects in Ekamara and establishing a lot of carryover in round 1. Makes the opponent really kind of cagey about what the future rounds are going to look like, what the past opportunity is. They've often wasted a lot of their removal on the Behemoths, so the Ekamaras may live. They attract a lot of locks and removal. People hate this card. These setup cards are fairly threatening, even though they are finite. What they are able to actually do to the board, especially being able to bring out the Ericus as well from your deck, is very, very good. We run a lot of Consume effects, so these things should proc almost every turn. You should be able to get full value out of it. And it's just, you know, I think that it's a very underrated card, but it's underrated, I think, because Unseen Elder is underrated. But being able to play anything at all on the board, get 1 or 2 of these out, I think as far as greed is concerned, you want to get maybe 2 of these out. And then Elder for 3 procs on both of these is just really, really, really solidifies your round 1 presence. And then finally the Ekamara, like you're just trying to build carryover. It's really very simple. It's a Consume effect that triggers your Behemoth that build carryover, and you can also cycle Neckers with it late. Usually not bad to ever have them. I like running, I generally don't mulligan these away or the Behemoths away. Roach is thinning in tempo. Really, that's what this deck is all about, having high tempo plays and great setup plays. Katakan is very good. Skellige is very strong right now, and Katakan does have a lot of value in Skellige matchups, but generally is just a strong Consume play that is usually just a double-digit silver. I feel like when Katakan is at its worst, it's still decent. So I just would always run Katakan. Another spot for this slot could be Giant Toad. And if you're running cards like, with Arch Griffin and you don't think you're going to need it, Giant Toad is quite good there. Giant Toad can also fix a Foglet in your hand perhaps as well. So I think Giant Toad is actually quite good as well. I like Katakan right now because Skellige is kind of popular. Morvud, of course. Give me that. Love this new premium. Morvud's pretty good. Not just being able to lock, but also being able to provide you a lot of value in locking a high-strength target, because sometimes the Emperor Brigade, you don't get around to locking it right away. Morvud kind of gives you a little bit of a refund on the patience that you take to spend him, so I do like that very much. Of course, you talked about Abea. Just, very, very good card, honestly. Like, sometimes there are instances where the rain is fine, but being able to clear the weather in a bronze, in a place where gold weather is very, you can find it here and there. It's not every game. It may not even be in 10 games, but you'll see gold weather sometimes. Spellitel does run it sometimes. So you'll see it, and Clear Skies is a great boon, and you can really take your time playing Abea. She can bail you out in a weather situation. Aridin and Dagon, of course, alone is worthwhile. And then the Griffins are just extra support because they are popular right now. And the Ericus Venom in a pinch, 15 points if you can get full value out of it. You'll go ahead and you'll take it. Monster Nest is usually just a 9-strength Ericus Behemoth. It's a lot harder for people to kill it, and usually they have to spend 2 removal cards to kill it. And like I said, the Ericus Behemoth, people hate these cards, so being able to actually have 4 of them without running Operator. I did run Operator at one point, but I think the Monster Nest is just better. Gives me the Behemoth, doesn't give my opponent anything. And it's a 9-strength unit, so it's a little bit harder to deal with. So I really do like Monster Nest for that, but in a pinch, it can be a Ghoul if you just need points or an extra Consume effect. So there is that. Summoning Circle, finally. Summoning Circle counters spies and sometimes can get you a weather clear. It can actually offer you a lot of cool opportunities. So cards like this, like Caretaker, and in either other factions like cards like a Glace that are very powerful but change from game to game. I love these cards, so I'm actually starting to warm up to Summoning Circle very much, and not running Frightener. It's very good to have a counter spy if you are up against monsters are running Frightener a lot. Cantarella is very frequent, so if you're ever able to copy those cards, it's usually in your best interest to do that. Let's talk about the gold cards here. So Caretaker, talked about him. He has a lot of great applications, just like Summoning Circle. Every game you play will be different, and he can offer you a lot of cool opportunities. Karen is a consume effect that can deal with Emperor Enforcers, and honestly, that's the start and end as far as I'm concerned. It also deals with Kedweni Siege supports. Deals in the mirror, not that there ever are any mirrors, but it does deal with Anarchist Behemoth on the opposing side of the board. And I think generally being able to take a 6 strength unit, sometimes you'll settle for a 5. It's a pretty strong play that also triggers consume. Kind of hard not to run K-Ren, especially in this meta when spies are so popular. Woodland Spirit, what is there to say that hasn't been said about Woodland Spirit? If you've listened to podcasts, talk shows, interviews, seen tournaments, Woodland Spirit is one of the most represented golds in a faction you'll ever see. Even though this is not even a weather deck, it is still making use of a single Foglet and Roach for Woodland Spirit in round 1 because it is such a strong play. 3 wolves come out with the Woodland Spirit plus Roach plus the Foglet. So that's 8 and 8 plus the Fog ticking, 18 minimum if you hit a unit. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So Woodland Spirit is fantastic. And finally, Regis is also pretty good. I think I like Regis most of all against Spell Scoia'tael because you can grab a Farseer or perhaps a Protector. Arguably, Protector is the long-term plan there. But if you're just looking for points and you're trying to push round 1, making sure that he only ever gets 2 Farseers and running more Vud, of course, helps with that as well. So I think this matchup is pretty good in Spell Scoia'tael because of Regis. Plus, it's a consume effect that you can play immediately as soon as you get a Behemoth on the board. So you can kind of get the Ericus out of the deck right away. You don't have to be too greedy here because Regis is usually pretty decent value. And like Caretaker and like Summoning Circle, it's a card that changes in every matchup. So I love cards that are strong but change in every matchup. That's all I got to say about that. Enjoy the video. I really enjoyed playing this one. Thanks for watching. See you soon, folks. Rah. If you are not motivated, I will show you this piece of fabric and flapping in the wind. Now die for your country. I'm pretty pleased with how this deck is doing. All right, well, this is a hand that I don't feel like struggle. It's not a mulligan struggle. Strulligan. This hand's pretty damn good. This hand's pretty good, guys. It's too good. It's almost too good. I wish I had more consume effects. And maybe I will mulligan the Necker this time. I'm probably going to get it back anyway. Okay, we didn't get Roach, so we're happy. We won the coin flip, so that's also pretty good too. We have chances. Not a fan that Nilfgaard has a few cards with the same names, like Standard Bearer or Brigade. Yeah, they have 2 Brigades. Fuck with... What is up with this pass right here, this open pass? Would I actually consider just taking this tie? Because what? I'm good. Because like there's so many cards that he wants carryover with, right? Me too, though. Me too. But more so him, right? He wins with Yennefer, though, right? He just beats me with Yennefer? I should play something. I should play something. Do I just play the Ekamara for carryover? It's more interesting if I just pass, though, right? Arthur Huxake wants to see that. Going into round 2, sudden death. Guess what? A lot of cards just got worse. A lot of cards. However, in my hand, all these cards are fine except for the ghoul. So I'm going to probably pitch the ghoul. But I can... I don't know. The ghoul is a consume effect. And I will be putting some stuff in the graveyard. Is this the hand that carries me to victory? Do I open up with Regis? Regis is less important, I guess, but... Nah, I should probably set up all my stuff. Because if it's Yennefer, right, we just make sure we have all our units out. We play Rain very liberally, I think. Just to kill things. This should be a game mode. 1 round Gwent. Oh god. It would change the way you build decks completely, right? Bring it on, son. Where's my Griffin's at? It's going to be a long round 3 right here. What's up, Rorden Gamzee? How's it going? Card for going first and 1 for going second? Yeah, basically, yeah. Told me use both brigades, so we put 2 Imperials and nothing else. Because he's running Renew? It's okay, I have a Bea, at least. Man, fog on that row is such a pain in the ass, guys. Live. Just live. Will I get both of them down? I feel like I have to try. You all right? Congrats. Oh, you got 4K. Right on. 4K is good. What play was this? Just Harpyless? Okay. Risky, but I'm doing it. Okay, Bay is going to be good, but I'm going to play Elder first. I'm going to play Elder first. That Scorch being gone is actually really good. You'd think he would have held on to Scorch, considering I'm Elder. Maybe. You might consider it.
Nats thyself make tower.
If I can keep the units even, Yen's not going to be very good. But I'm assuming he's running Yen. Okay, well, so he has to have Renew, right? He would have to have it, but even then, it's probably still fine if I play this now. Pretty helpful. Many consume effects still. Able to trigger those behemoths. Okay. Time for Regis, I guess? Time for Regis, I think. Interesting. Oh, you know what I could actually do? I could res the Necker Warrior. This is actually good. Of course he has that. Oh, well, well, well. Seems fine to me. Wait, what? Is this supposed to show me like which one is... Are they both in my graveyard or something? Are they both in my graveyard? It doesn't matter anyway. They were both in my graveyard. Okay. I had taken it earlier, I suppose. I mean, did I? Okay, I'm actually going to res the Necker Warrior on the Ericus, and then I'm going to proc this Behemoth. Is what's going to happen. That seems pretty good. There's really not much other chances here. But I do like it. Because if he's planning on Yennifering, like I have, it's just not like a game winner for him, right? I'm also winning on points. Ooh, Frightener. Changing things up a little bit, giving him that he gets 2 cards after I'm done, which is super scary. Super scary. Big round right here. Now he could probably offensively Yennefer, and he may. But I mean, he would have to have drawn all of his gold cards. Okay. I mean, why wouldn't you pass round 1 without all 4 of your gold cards? Okay, so it's getting a little scary now because I don't think I have a lot of power left. I don't know. I don't think I have it. I'll save more if I just till the very end, just in case something better presents itself than the 9 on the board. He has no yen here, Metro? Yeah, he sure didn't. He sure didn't have yen. From the very start, I thought yen. I thought yen in a long round could kill me, but I'm like, I can make more tokens than him. Or I can at least keep up. All right, I mean, so he played all of his gold cards, right? So his big plays are gone, but he may have Crones, and I may lose to Crones. And I think I I lose to Crones, but I don't lose to Crones if he has 2 Crones in his hand. Oh, that's so good. Now I don't even lose to Crones. Round 1 pass against me. Get out of here with that. Get out of here. Easy. 1 round. 1 round, Gwent. The trick is to not be afraid. Never scared, just prepared. You know what I'm saying?